Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Matchbook Horse Racing podcast. We've got a stellar team assembled for you this week. You can see Charlie Poste, Declan Ricks, and Adele Mulrennan. It's such a good team that I'm not going to be tipping this week, so we'll rely on the three brains we've got. And we've got some decent action to get stuck into between a few tracks. Just a reminder that you can check out all the selections at insights.matchbook.com. And if you are liking our content, you can give us a thumbs up and a like. It makes a difference to us and to you, and subscribe for free as well. So you can get everything that you want to listen to or watch straight there in front of you. And that's across all of the Matchbook Sports podcasts. Okay, should we get stuck into it? First of all, thanks for joining us just a little bit later than planned. Let's have a look at our first contest. We're going to start with the 150 at Sandown. Sprint contest, this is 5 furlongs, and at the top of the betting, you've got Mitbahi at 3.9, Racel, Progressive 4.4, Equilateral 7.0, Nymphadora 9.8, Tipido's 11, a couple in at 12s, and I'll leave it there. Couple in agreement at the top of the betting, Charlie and Adele, first of all. Adele, you can kick us off, please.
Okay. Competitive little race, but I just think Mitbahi's shown enough to suggest that he's very much capable of being back in this level. He's very much built on his 2-year-old campaign. Over the course and distance last time out in the Scurry Stakes, he looked very professional. He looked much stronger as well physically. I know he tried this level as a 2-year-old, but I just think this year he looks a little bit more the polished article. I mean, that day at Sandown, the last day in the listed race, the performance looked every bit of a group performance. So he's a 3-year-old taking on the older horses. They have quite a good recordish in the race, so I can't see why he wouldn't be able to take on. I mean, some of these horses we know what they are. Racel would be my only kind of like wonder. He's kind of stepping up as well in grade, and he's been hugely progressive. But I think he's got a good draw as well, Mitbahi. So I'm going to go with him. I think he was very, very, very impressive last time out.
Charlie, what do you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, I think Adele's probably hit the nail on the head for me as well. I mean, I think 6 3-year-olds have won this in the last 10 years, and I think 3 of them had won the Scurry Stakes, which he did en route to this as well. So I think plenty of pointers. I mean, the only thing, with the one box, I suppose if he tends to be held up, and maybe that could turn into traffic problems. But yeah, I just thought he was a horse in this race that was very much on the upgrade, and against sort of exposed rivals, I thought he had the potential to be a bit better than this. And then, like Adele says, he seems to be improving with racing. So yeah, Mitbahi for me, I'm pretty strong about him.
I think we've discussed on the podcast before about the draw at Sandown's probably not such a big impact to be far side as it once was. As you say, Mitbahi comes out of 1. Rixie, you are with Equilateral, the in and out Equilateral out of 5. Go on, make the case.
Yeah, basically just that the main case it's price related. I can perfectly see the case with Mitbahi. He as Charlie stole my stats there. 6 out of the 10 last 3-year-olds have won this, and he looked good the last day at Sandown. But he visually he looked good, but he beat a horse officially rated 98. Racel, I'm struggling to get to grips with that Haydock form. If Dragon Symbol ran his race and ran up to form of his 3-year-old career, then Racel will go well as well. But I'm just not sure on that. And I just price related, I think I had Equilateral running to 104 behind Nature Strip. I had Racel running to 102, and I had Mitbahi running to 103. So on their last pieces of form, they're all running around the same level. But this lad is basically twice the price, and it's a big drop in grade. To be fair to Equilateral, as you said, he's very in and out, but he's been very in and out at the top level. This is a big drop in class for him. I could see him sitting in front of Racel and Mitbahi, who are 2 proper hold-up horses. I'm hoping he might be able to get first run and steal the race under Kieran Schumacher. So, yeah, just at the prices for me, it is Equilateral.
Win and place, Declan, or just win?
No, he's a bit in and out. I'd be happy to just go win only in this race. Yeah, win only.
Okay, lovely. I was trying to scroll down the market there as if it's my screen that I'm. It's nothing to do with me. That's our wily producer. I was like, why is it not working? Okay, 2 shouts for Mitt Bahi at the top of the betting at 3.9. Equilateral, a win bet for Rixie at 7.0. Good race next at Haydock, a nice big field handicap. And that's how easy you can scroll between the markets on Matchbook. So we've got Sea King at 4.0. Double Cherry is 6.6. Nathaniel Green is 8.4. Duty Bound 9.8. Percy Jones 10, 11.5. Giavolotto, and then into the slightly bigger prices. Adele, first of all, what's the ground going to be at Haydock? Because you seem to call it right. What were we expecting?
Well, everyone else seems to be watering, and he was still on soft earlier on in the week, up to soft yesterday. It's absolutely chucking it down outside my house now, but I'm about an hour and a half away. Who knows? Who knows what it would be at Haydock? I can only imagine it would be on the slower side. I can't imagine it quickening up to good to firm anyway, maybe up to good, but I still think it will have a little bit of ease in it.
Good to soft at the moment.
Yeah.
I know Rixie and Charlie agree. Go on, Declan.
Yeah, I like the Marco Body horse, Giavolotto here. Probably worth pointing out before I get into his form, and that there's lots of pace on here. I think you're going to need to stay. There's been 5 renewals of this race, and in all 5 renewals, although some of the fields weren't as big as this, all the winners have been drawn in single figures. They start in front of the stands there, and the first bend comes up quite quickly. So just in terms of that, Giavolotto is drawn in 3. Yeah, look, he's really progressing. I thought he ran in a very strong handicap at Sandown earlier in the year. The form has worked out well, which is no surprising because on the clock, what they did this day stood up very well to the other races on the card, and there were some good races that day. Can't remember now who else was on that card, but there was some very good races. Emily Upjohn, was on that card. Westover was on that card, all over the course and distance, and the time stood up very well. Then I thought he took a big step up in Trippo to an extended 1 mile 6 at Doncaster the last day, and I thought he ran a cracker given how the race fell for him. They went very hard early, but there was a big drop in pace in the middle of the race, and he was held up last. But he looks sharper. He looks like a horse is improving to me. He can still be a little bit lazy, and he can get a little bit warm. So if he gets warm on Saturday, don't be worried about that. But I thought to be only beaten a length behind Salver Mundi and the Mark Johnson horse, given the massive head start he gave them, with the first 3-4 lengths clear of the rest, I thought it was a cracking run. Connections have reached for the first time. Hood, I don't know if that's a positive or a negative. I didn't think he really needed it. But if that ekes out another little bit of improvement as well, I can see him going well. So, Marco Botti among the winners recently. Neil Callan is riding very well as well. So, I think at a double-figure price, he should go well.
Sorry, Charlie, I keep making you pick up off the back of people's cases. I will come to you first, I promise, in agreement. Go on.
That's all right. It's making my life pretty easy because, just all what Rixie said. I mean, they also made him favourite at Sandown on that penultimate start too, and the Hood, I suppose the hope is maybe it might help him stay a bit cooler. And I just wondered if maybe with the Hood on, they might be able to ride him a little bit closer to the pace as well, so that he's not having to forsake as much ground. So maybe get him into a more settled rhythm. So I agree that the Hood is a difficult one to decipher, but if it just helps him sort of make Neil Callan's life a bit easier and he can ride him a bit closer and not give him such a start, I think that on the back of that Doncaster run, with the Mar 6, and then again, I think Master Craftsman, a bit of cut in the ground shouldn't be any harm to him either. So Giavolotto, so I'm just seconding everything Declan said.
15 runners then, Adele, and a couple on side for you.
Yeah, I've picked a couple out, bigger prices. Double Cherry one because I just think really appreciate the trip at Goodwood last time out, and I think I'll appreciate even further. The third that day has gone on and won over this trip. He's also a half brother to Uber Cooler, Jane Chapel-Imes, who's a good stayer as well. So his pedigree is not too bad, and not a bad price either to play at the place market. And then Duty Bound for Her Majesty the Queen. I thought this horse already proven at the trip. He looks like he's really taken time to mature. He won at Sandown last time out, and he looks quite an easygoing horse. Like, I think you would be able to sit him anywhere. He seems to settle on any pace. So if they go a little bit steady, I think he'll be absolutely fine. I don't think he'll be too keen. He looks like he's got a really nice attitude. Absolutely relished the trip last time out. Doesn't do anything dramatically, like when he was first asked to quicken, it was like as if it was a delayed reaction. He doesn't have like a massive turn of foot, but at the end of the race, when he really had to, knuckle down and his stamina kicked in, he seen the trip out really well. Was still quite green when he hit the front, because he's never actually ever hit the front before. So I think he had a little bit of a like, oh, where do I go? Do I go left? Do I go right? But once he knuckled down, and David Probert got after him, he stuck his neck out. And I thought it was a really encouraging race. So I think there's definitely room for improvement. He stays the trip. He's got a good pedigree. So I think he could easily progress on that.
So you can see the price is 9.8 for Duty Bound, Double Cherry 6.6. And Giavolotto, 2 shouts for him at 11.5 for Callan and Botti. Okay, move on to the challenge, which is at Sandown. Prices are as follows: Sinjari 3.85, Czech and Challenge is 5.6, Lion Tower 6.4, Escobar 11.0, Tahitian Princess 10.0, Uzo is 11.5. Into the slightly bigger prices of that. And Charlie, I'll come to you first. So who do you like and why?
Yeah, I mean, this wouldn't be like one of my strongest shouts, but Flying High, I came down with of Andrew Bolden's. He's quite a free goer, but he seemed to see his race out better last time at Newbury with the first time cheap pieces on. He's drawn in 2, so he's an inside slot for him, and he's quite a free going horse, but he got a lovely lightweight on his back as well, only 8 stone 2. Joey Haynes on board. Andrew Bolden, the horses continue to run in top form, and like I say, I just thought he was worth chancing win and place, Tom, in an open-looking contest. I know the other guys have gone with Czech and Challenge, and I'll let them make their case. I could see that 100%, and he could prove to be a class apart. But I just thought this was quite an open race with bar Czech and Challenge, quite a lot of exposed horses, and this horse just at the price, it just interested me a bit, because I just think he's coming to the boil. His runs are improving through the season, and maybe this time could be the time for him to hit peak form.
Okay, and a Czech and Challenge for Declan and Adele. Go on, Rixie.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a strong selection now. I just thought he was a little bit overpriced on form. He wouldn't be a strong selection for 2 reasons. Basically, the ground is maybe a little bit unknown, and we still don't know if he's a turf horse, because his best form has definitely been on the all weather. And the other thing is the William Knight yard. I'm not sure they're firing on all cylinders at the moment, so that's a little bit of a worry. It would be win only, but if you go back, what he did when he won the Burden Stakes was seriously impressive. The way he travelled into it, he was still clearly green as well. Danny Tudhope just gave him a couple of squeezes at the various parts of the races, but every time he gave him a squeeze, he went into the bridle for him, and he just looked a good horse. And then how he travelled into it and beat Imperial Fighter, who obviously went on to run very well in the Irish Guineas, even though it was a poor Irish Guineas this year. And Dubai Poet, who was second, he ran very well behind Noble Truth in the Jersey at Royal Ascot. The form just looks rock solid. I think over the last 10 years as well, 3-year-olds have won 6 out of the last 10 renewals. But again, he's by Fast Company, who in general, his progeny like a little bit of cut in the ground. But yeah, and he ran well. I thought he ran well in the Guineas, because I thought he hated the track. And he was way, way, way sharper as well. That run at Newcastle really sharpened him up. He travelled very well. He hated the track. I think that the stiff climb at Sandown will suit him. Newcastle isn't as stiff, but he obviously came up the incline there very well when he won the Burden. But he's win only, as I said. But the ground is not too much of a worry. I think because he's a class horse, he might be able to get away with it, and they're running uphill. But the form of the Night Yard definitely is a worry. But William Buick has been booked to ride. Obviously he is absolutely gagging to win the Ale Jockey Championship this year. So his agent will be getting him lots of good spins. So yeah, I like Czech and Challenge. On form, he's definitely overpriced, but the stable form is a worry.
Yes, a big drop in grade, Adele.
I suppose that's probably what I'm going with. I mean, a few of these have got disappointing runs themselves to overcome. At least his was at the top level, so you can forgive him for that. He's just an eye catcher into this company. So Rix he's already covered everything, really. There's not really much more to add. 3-year-olds don't have a bad record in the race. Obviously, he was very impressive in the Burden. They obviously thought masses of him because he was entered in the St James's Palace as well. So, just purely on the fact that he's into this level, I think is a big eye catcher.
Okay, we will be finishing up with the Coral Eclipse. Don't worry about that. We've got to go to Haydock though for the 240. We'll go in ITB order, 1.5 miles for the Lancashire Oaks. Betting is as follows, with Free Wind 3.25, Ashada 4.6, Sela Rossa 6.6, Kawida 7.2, Stay Alert 8.6, Believe in Love is 11.5. This is the 240. Adele, you can make the case first of all for your section. I know Rixie agrees and he's going to play in the without market, but Adele first of all.
Yeah, I mean, she's not been overly raced, Ashada. I suppose very disappointing run last year was at York in the Yorkshire Oaks. I don't know what happened to her that day. I don't know whether, I'm not sure. I don't know whether anyone said anything happened to her. But I do think, even though she's got form on good to firm ground, which she showed at Royal Ascot last year in the Ribblesdale, I do think she's a bit better with a bit of a cut in the ground. So I'm hoping Haydock doesn't quicken up too much. I can't see it drastically. I still think there'll be ease in it. Jim wasn't overly hard on her first run back at Newbury. Once it kind of was obvious that she wasn't going to be, playing for the placement, I just think he kind of looked after her and they give her one backhand. So she'll come on for that. I like her Group 1 form from last year, winning the Fillies and Mares race. So I think she'll come on for a run basically from what we've seen this year. And I didn't think she did a whole lot wrong last year.
Yeah, she finished up the season really well. So now I'm interested in this Ashada versus Free Wind. It's not just a 2-horse race. So I know who you like, Charlie, but first of all, Rixie, you want to play Ashada and in the without Free Wind market as well.
Yeah, I want to play her in the straight market and want to play her without Free Wind as well. Basically, I think the two of those at the top of the market, I think their form is comfortably better than all the 3-year-olds. But Free Wind, she's making her seasonal debut. John Gostin has won, I think, 4 of the last 10 renewals of this. Only one of them has won on seasonal reappearance. And look, she's taken on a Group 1 winner who's had a run. So it's going to be a tough task for her if Ashada is in good nick. And the other thing is that as well now is something we're going to have to get used to for the rest of the season. Probably is Rab Halvan replacing Frankie Dettori and all these. Rab is a very good jockey, good solid rider. He's been a great servant to the Gostin Yard, but look, he's not in the league of Frankie Dettori. I'd want to put Rab down, but I think Dettori's one of the greatest jockeys we've ever seen. So that's just something we've got to factor in. But I like Ashada. Look, I think her form is probably at 2 or 3 pounds better than the Gostin filly. I could make a case for her being favourite nearly in this race, especially if the Gostin filly isn't firing on all cylinders on her first start of the season. So I'll back her straight at about 4.5, and then you can back her in the without market as well. The only thing with the Ashada is I'm a little bit worried. She's the only Group 1 winner in the field when she won on Champions Day last year, and that really is her standout piece of form. You'd like to see her do it again. But to be fair to her, she's pretty straightforward filly who was very game. And when she did make her seasonal debut at Newbury in the Aston Park Stakes, she had to carry a Group 1 penalty. Roger Varian's team weren't in good order, and I thought she actually shaped a good bit better than the distance beaten. The Varian team now are in great nick at the moment. So I thought she was a good bet at 4.6 against Free Wind, and then she's a very, very good bet in the without market. So Ashada for me.
Yeah, interesting. Giles says, I can't believe none of you like Sela Rossa. I'm interested by that as well. Thought she was very good at the track last time. Charlie, you're with the filly at the top of the market.
Yeah, I can see the point about Sela Rossa. I just, again, agree with the other guys that I just think that the top two's form is that bit better. A Free Wind, I just thought she improved throughout last season. The only defeat was at the hands of Golden Pass, who she then readily turned around when she absolutely thumped her in the Park Hill by 7 lengths. And she's a Galileo. There's every reason to believe she should continue to improve with racing. Yes, it's first time out, but I don't see any reason why that should be a major negative. And again, Rixie's right about Rab Havlin, but at the same time, I think she looks a very straightforward rider. I don't see her posing too many problems for a jockey of his experience, and maybe it's good to see him get an opportunity after all these years of service to the yard on these sort of horses on this sort of stage. And I just thought Free Wind had more scope to continue improving, much as I have a lot of respect for Ashada as a Group 1 winner already, Tom.
Right, time to remind you about the sign-up offer. It's the £30 welcome offer, and it's money back as a free bet if your first bet loses. It is for new customers only. You've got to use the bonus code INSIGHTS30, INSIGHTS30. You place your first bet. If it loses, Matchbook will refund your stake as a free bet up to £30. You know how it works by now. The full terms and conditions are on the Matchbook website. 18 plus. Be gamble aware. If you don't have a Matchbook account and you like to listen to and watch the content online, it's well worth doing so, opening up an account and having a go at something and taking advantage of that £30 welcome offer. We move on to the Distaff over a mile at Sandown. Good fillies lining up here. Heredia, the Ascot Good Thing, 2.18, Grandam 5.1, Ascula 7.0, Fast Attack 8.5, Queen Anamatu 12.5, Arian 24.0. And is that it? One more sneaking in? Yeah, Lochlundy 36 and Lyrical Lady 36. Okay. Rixie, nothing for you. Adele, you like Heredia up in grade.
Yeah, I know she's up in grade, but I think she showed at Royal Ascot that she's very much ready for it. She looks a really exciting filly. She's by Dark Angel, who's very much a prolific sprint sire. So that's why she's got some really good gears. She's won over 6 furlongs, 7 furlongs, but then there's also a bit of stamina in there on a dam side. So I just think she's she's probably too short for me to have a bet at, but she holds an entry in a Group 1. I just think she's a very exciting filly, and I can't see why she wouldn't be able to move up into this level. And some of these we know what some of these are. Schooler got a confidence boost last time at Carlisle. Grand Dam, I don't know, is she wanting maybe a little bit further this season? So yeah, I just think she's it looks a winnable race for her, to be honest. If as long as she can keep improving.
Yeah, she looked very good last time, didn't she? Charlie, Queen Anamatu at 12.0 win and place.
Yeah, I mean, this is proper chancy, really. But I mean, I just she was unlucky not to win a handicap at Haydock last time, but that was off 82. But for a yard that's incredibly shrewd, and granted they're probably chasing black type, but I mean, I'm just amazed that William Haggis is going to throw away a mark that's exploitable to trace this sort of prize. Her form, on debut behind Al Kareem, he was placed in the Queen's Vase, and he's rated 100 now. And it's just more that the prices win and place. I just can't believe William Haggis is running her in this sort of contest if he doesn't believe she's capable of being a whole lot better than this, because it just doesn't make a lot of sense otherwise. With a mark of 82, she's surely going to be able to go and win a nice couple of handicaps off that sort of rating. And to be pitched into this grade, it just sort of pricked my interest, really, because it just seems a strange thing for a yard as shrewd as that to be doing.
I love the chat in the background that's going on between a few of you about the form line with Tuesday and Westover and Emily Upjohn as a King George filly, and will Desert Crown win the Arctic Triumph? I love it. It's great. I know you're not listening to a word we're saying, which is fine.
Getting ahead of ourselves here.
I don't think Desert Crown will run in the Arc. From having spoken to someone there, I think they're going to bring him back to 10, and Bay Bridge will be campaigned that part of the season as a 12 furlong horse. Anyway, there you go. Might be completely wrong. Let's move. Are we done there? Yeah, good. Let's move on. We're going to go to the Old Newton Cup at Haydock. So, Gassie's 2.38, 9.2 Liverpool Knight, Get Shirty 11.0, Brentford Hope 12.5, Something Enticing is 12.5, as is Secret Shadow. I will leave it there, and I don't think we missed anything that anyone's putting up. So, Declan, first of all, the top of the market.
Yes, nothing too fancy for me here. I just think Gasset is going to win. Very unexposed, still on the turf, having spent this first part of his career on the all-weather. But I was really impressed with what he did at York. I think the form is you could definitely argue the case he's maybe a little bit short in the betting, and I'd love even if we got a little bit of maybe kind of 3.0 on the day, because the form of that that York Handicap win. It's not outstanding, because this is definitely a warmer race, but just how keen and gassy he was for the whole race, and he still came there traveling 3 out, picked up straight away, and put the race to bed. He was probably in, Tom Marcon was at pains not to get there too soon, but this horse was just going so well, and in a totally different league that he just got to the front and wouldn't say powered away. He would have powered away, only for he hung left late under pressure. Probably needed to run a little bit on his first start, but I think, with that little bit of gassiness gone out of him, this race should set up well for him. And even if he does travel keenly again, you've got Fancy Man in here, Brentford Hope, Get Shirty, Morando, Trawlerman, Torcello, Enfranchise, Love is Gold, and Ravens, Craig Castle all like to go forward. So it's going to be a bigger the field, the bigger the certainty kind of job for me, because there's going to be lots of pace on here. And I don't see as many highly progressive horses as him in the race. Trained by William Haggis, does very well here at Haydock as well. So Gassi for me. I think he's going to take a fair bit of beating. If I'm being a bit greedy, would like to see a bit of 3.0. If people are saying he's a bit short, I can definitely see that. But I just really got a feeling we're looking at a kind of a group horse in a handicap scenario here. So yes, I'm nothing too fancy with me here. I'm going to stick with the Fav.
It might level up a bit, 2.38 to back and 3.4 to lay. 3.0 might be greedy, but we'll see. It's worth keeping an eye on the market. Charlie.
I came down with Liverpool Knight, who was impressive on his first start for Kelvin Philippart de Foy after leaving Alan King. I thought he hit the line very strong on that occasion. And as Rixie said, there's loads of pace in here. He's drawn in 13, but I don't think, and someone might correct me, I don't think a wide draw in this sort of contest is a negative. I think it's been won plenty of times over the last 10 years by horses drawn double figures. I think maybe half a dozen times. He's got back form to show that a rating of 87, that there's a decent handicap to be won with him. He's by Golden Horn. They continue to improve with age and time. And Kevin, I think, is a trainer that I got massive respect for, a young trainer on the up. And I think he's shown already this year with staying handicappers that he can plot one out for a big contest. And for me, just the only thing that put me off, if anyone's keen on the favourites, I just thought he was short enough. Rixie seems massively confident, which is worrying. But I just thought that the prices, I'd rather take a punt on something win and place at double figure digits, with the favourite almost pushing everything out massively in the market.
Yeah, horses from a wide draw have definitely won it. A few of those have had good rides up there. Kelly's Dino was one of those, but equally, it seems like you can come from anywhere. Adele.
Okay, I've gone for David Amara's horse, Get Shirty, who has really found his feet this year. This horse, he stays all day long. He was a winner over 1.7 mile out in France, but I think this year he's really kind of stepped up with his UK form, winning at Ascot. That was over 1.6 mile. He seems quite straightforward. Danny usually just takes the lead, drops him in mid-div. He's won over further. He's won over this distance as well. I think, if anything, at Royal Ascot probably showed his versatility as regards ground-wise. It was quite quick, and some of his form had been on softer. So I think the ground should be absolutely fine for him. And then I've gone for one of Charlie and Mark Johnson's, because Mark's had a good record in this race over the years, and he usually wins with something carrying, under 9 stone. So I've gone for Franchise at a big price for a place bet. Andrew Breslin rides this horse, and he rode him at Pontefract last time when he won over, was it 1.4 mile? Was it 1.6 mile? No, it was over 1.4 mile. That was his first time at that trip. He doesn't have to, I know there's loads of pace on in the race, but he doesn't have to make the running. I know Mark's horses are great, because if there's no pace on in the race, they'll go forward. They're great, but they don't have to. As long as they're ridden prominently, he just likes them to be in a winning position on the front end with no excuses. So he's she's quite consistent horse. So I've got her at a nice big place bet. Andrew Breslin takes off £3, and he's a good little rider, Andrew. I'd like to see him with a nice win on a Saturday.
17.5. You might be able to get a bit bigger than that on the day, as well, as that market really forms, particularly down the bottom of it. Get Shirty is 11.0. Okay, we come to the big one, the Eclipse 10 furlongs, the feature race of the day. And Verdini is 2.92, then Native Trail 4.3, Bay Bridge 5.3, Alenquer 8.2, Mischief 9.2, 27.0. For obvious reasons, the race I was most looking forward to the guys previewing. A couple of shouts for Bay Bridge, one for the Guinea second as well. Go on, Charlie, make the case first of all for your selection.
I just Bay Bridge for me. I mean, I thought he ran absolutely fine at Ascot, you know, as in, I think State of Rest got an excellent ride from Shane Cross, took advantage of the lack of pace. Granted, I'm not sure, and Rixie might have more of an idea I'm not sure there's huge pace in here, but Sandown's even more of a stiff finishing track than Ascot, and I think the track could suit him ideally. Verdini looked exceptionally good at Chantilly in the French Derby, but I'm still not completely convinced about the complete value of that form. And Native Trail, much as he won the Irish Guineas, I'm just not sure he's quite. I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure he's improved that much from his outstanding 2-year-old campaign. And for that reason, I just thought Bay Bridge at 5.0 was actually value against these two in this sort of field. And Ryan Moore, Michael Stout, improving 4-year-old. And like I say, I thought he ran fine at Ascot and with a bit more of a gallop to aim at. It'd be interesting to see maybe if there isn't no pace, whether Ryan tactically might make even more use of him in this contest. You know, I mean, he saw the trip out excellent at Ascot, and he seems to be a fairly versatile horse from a riding perspective. So I just wonder if he'll take the ball by the horns if there's not a lot of pace and give him a real positive ride in this race.
Yeah, you can maybe answer the case for the pace angle, Rixie, and give your selection.
Well, yeah, look, on paper, there's no pace in this race. Yeah, you know, when the confirmations came through at the start of the week, it looked like it was going to be an absolute cracker, and it still is. But you know, we really needed those Ballydoyle, a couple of those Ballydoyle horses, maybe Stone Age to run or High Definition to put some pace in it. They're going in separate directions. One's going to France, one's going to America. So yeah, there's not a lot of pace on here. But look, I can see. I would not be surprised if Tom Marquand took the bull by the horns here, because I don't think Alenquer is going to outspeed any of these, but he stays very well. So I could see Tom, you know, giving him an kick out of the belly as they jump out and try and make all, because in a foot race he's going to get out sprinted by some of these. So it's kind of, even though it's disappointing that the Ballydoyle horses aren't running here and there's no pace in the race, I think how it plays out tactically is going to be really, really fascinating. It's looking forward to seeing how it patterns out. So yeah, to answer your question about pace, on paper there's not a lot on, but my gut feeling is telling me Tom Marquand might go forward on Alenquer.
I'm interested in the fact that you are half interested in Mischief. Go on.
Well, my interest in Mischief is solely got to be down to price. He on his best form, he is a stupid price. He's got in my opinion, he's got the two bits of classy, outstanding pieces of form in this race. His second to Adayar in the King George, and his 6 lengths beaten of Alenquer in the Juddmonte. If he comes back to those levels of form, he's going to win this. It's as simple as that. Especially now that he gets on his favorite surface, it's going to be quick ground for him. But the problem with him is now he was so disappointing when he ran out in Saudi. But John Gosling was saying that the surface out there has changed this year. It had been kind of like a Tapeta kind of European style racing favorite surface the year that he won it 2 seasons ago. But this year, because there was a lot more American horses coming, they changed it to a more American kind of dirt surface. So, you know, that is a worry. And the other thing with this as well, he ran behind St. Mark's Basilica in this race last year, and he clearly needed the race. You know, he clearly did. So did Dave that day. So the market is going to be key. If we could just get back up the prices there, if we could have a look, if that's okay. Like he's 9.2 there. I would be happy to back this horse at 5.0. You know, I could even make a case for him that this horse should be favoured in this race, because in my opinion, that form, those two pieces of form that I just mentioned, are the two outstanding bits of form for me in this race. Like Charlie, I'm not sure on the level of the Jockey Club won by Vidani. I thought the race set up perfectly for him this day. El Bodegon, Modern Games, they went to the front, took each other on. Well, sorry, Modern Games was taken on by a complete outside of that finish last, and that definitely spoiled his chance. And El Bodegon, he's son of Kodiak as well. Do they really progress as 3-year-olds? I know he's a full brother to Best Solution, who kind of bucked the trend in terms of the pedigree. So I'm definitely happy to take the French on at the prices. Native Trail for me took a big step backwards when he won the Irish Guineas. He was pretty workmanlike that day. He's by Oasis Dream out of that old Observatory mare. I don't think the 10 furlongs necessarily is going to suit him down to the ground. Alan Carr probably wants a really strong gallop. Lord North, obviously very unlucky. Frankie had a mare on him the last day at Ascot getting the hood off, but he doesn't look the same horse. So look, the main kind of the solid play, I agree with Charlie, is Bay Bridge. But at the prices, Mishriff is just a stupid price. But a lot of things, as my father drilled into me when I was very young, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. So maybe that price is suggesting he could be gone at the game, but he's definitely worth a significant look in the market to see how it goes within kind of 5 minutes before the off.
The only thing I'll add to that, only because I was in Saudi and actually we got to do a bit of filming and spent a bit of time with the horse, and I got the impression they weren't shocked that it didn't go to plan. And I take the point about the surface, but I would keep an eye on the price on the market, whether it moved in his favour, because I don't think he was quite right out there. And he had to run because he was defending his crown for a Saudi owner, but I don't think he was right.
Yeah, and that's the other thing out there is a lot of these European horses. A lot of the good ones finish in the Arc or British Champions Day. Getting deep into the season on soft ground. And then to be prepared to run in races in February and March, they don't get that much of a break. It's not like a national hunt horse where you just throw these horses out into the field and they have a proper good break. They'll still be doing little bits of work. So that he hasn't got a proper break. But we do know he is tough. He showed time and time again he is tough. But I need to be significantly interested in him. I need to see some market support.
Right, Adele, you waited very patiently. Go on.
Yeah, sorry, Adele.
It's all right. Very interesting. I can't have Bay Bridge purely because he let me down for every single of my doubles and trebles. I was absolutely gutted when he got beat. But I know, I think if they'd have run the race again, I think they probably would have ridden him a little bit more prominently. He's a nice horse. I've got to stick with Native Trail because myself and Jason Weaver said on ITV that we would love to see this horse over this trip. So I kind of can't really go back on myself because I do think it'll bring out. I'm not saying massive improvement, but he does do his best work at the very end. He hits that flat spot. Looks a little bit workmanlike as a couple of you have already picked up. So I'm hoping the extra couple of furlongs we'll see something a little bit different with him. So I hope so. I can't not go with him, having been so strong about seeing him over further. Mishriff would be one though that I would also have been interested in as well. If I wasn't staying so true to Native Trail. I was talking to David Egan about him, and he said he's working really well tactically. He's been dragged into loads of tactical affairs over the years. He's battle hardened. He's rated 125. He's the highest rated in the race because he's a very, very good horse on his day. The race wise, I think Alan Kerr will go forward. He needs a good gallop to aim at, and I suppose if he's not going to get it, he'll have to do it himself. So I think Tom will go forward on him. Buick's not got a bad draw in 5. He can kind of either, he'll probably stay wide a little bit. I mean, it might be one of those races where you might be better off drawing a little bit wider, sitting out the back, and then you can kind of just swoop the field. You don't want to get blocked in on the rail. That's one thing you don't want to happen if it's going to be quite tactical. So be interesting to see. And then the French horse, I'm not overly keen on his form. El Bodegon, that finished second to him. I mean, honestly, it's tiny. It looked so small against our horses in the Dante. I couldn't have a yard of it at all training on this year. What was the horse that was third? Modern Games. That was his first time trying that trip, so he might even be better coming back. So yeah, I can't really have his form, even though he was quite impressive. So yeah, I'm gonna have to stick with Native Trail. He's a lovely horse, and hopefully he stays the trip. He's got form at Sandown, so he's kind of got form at the course, but albeit over shorter.
All right. Good stuff on the feature, the Coral Eclipse. For anyone on the live stream that's watching, or if you're watching on catch up, if you like this video and comment with your nap of the weekend, you can do it post recording. If your nap wins, you can get a £25 free bet with Matchbook given out at random for anyone that comments with a winning nap. So put your nap on here. If it wins, you get a £25 free bet for next week. There you go. And there's no price restriction either.
I'll be setting up about 14 or 15 different YouTube channels now just to get me free bet in.
There you go, and find a sort of 1.1 shot. It's got to be a 3-runner race somewhere. But there you go. You can do that. Okay. Any other bets? I think just Adele here to accommodate one other bet you fancy in the 425 at Haydock. I think an 11.0 shot, Adele. He
had his first run back at York, and yet he finished in front of Boardman that day by a head. He's never won first time out. I remember looking at him in the paddock thinking he'll come on for the run. So Titan Rock at Haydock, because Boardman, I think, is ahead of the market considering he finished behind him. So I've just got him just for a nice place bet, just, low key, some a bit of fun.
10.0, I correct myself, 10.0 for, I nearly said Boardman there, for Titan Rock in that 425. There you go, we got there. Okay, let's move on to the lays. So I guess no surprise here with some of them, given what you've said. Charlie, first of all.
Yeah, as in, I've put up Heredia at 2.0 or less, just purely because obviously I've got my speculative punt on Queen Aminatu, and I just thought with Oscula, Grand Dame, and Fast Attack in opposition, I just thought if she ended up getting that short, Tom, it was, like I say, I thought it was an attractive proposition to take her on because she is stepping up in grade and she's got to prove she's up to this class, much as there's every chance that she is. But yeah, so like it was purely price related, that if she ended up that short, I'd be willing to oppose her at that price. Okay,
and you laid a schooler, I think, at Epsom, and we're right there as well. So good stuff. Heredia, you're laying her at 2.0 or under in that 3 o'clock at Sandown. Adele fancied Heredia, but no offence taken, I'm sure. Rixie, you are laying a horse that Adele also put up. It's brutal. Hanging up.
I'm sorry, I apologise, Adele. Yeah, look, I'm gonna lay Native Trail at the prices. Physically, he looks like a horse who's going to get better and better as he got older, but I'm just not sure you've seen that in his form this year. He ran very well in the Guineas behind Caribus when he was maybe drawn on the wrong side of the track, but that Guineas form didn't exactly get a massive boost at Royal Ascot and the St James's Palace, and then he went to Ireland in the Irish 2000 Guineas, which was a very, very weak renewal this year, and he was very workmanlike. I think his progress has probably stopped now. And then you have got to factor in he's stepping up to 10 furlongs for the first time as well. By Oasis Dream, a sprinter out of Observatory. Yeah, plenty of pace in that pedigree. I'm happy to lay Native Trail first 2 places in the Eclipse in what is a very, very competitive race.
And Adele, you're focusing on the Eclipse as well?
Yeah, I'm going to lay the French horse, Dini, who I said the form I don't think is all that great, although he was very impressive. El Bodegon, looked half of our horses when he ran against our classic contenders. So I can't really have that form at all. So I'm going to lay him.
Okay, laying Verdini. And best bets for the weekend. Adele, I'll come straight back to you. Who's your best bet?
What do I go for? Check and challenge. Purely basically on the fact that he's obviously was so well thought of. Running in the Guineas and then of course holding that entry in the St James's Palace, so into that kind of company, I'm purely going on that. So check and challenge
in the challenge. Rixie, your best bet?
Yeah, my best bet's going to be Ishada without free wind in the Lancashire Oaks. I think the 2 older fillies at the head of the market, their form is significantly better than the others in the race. Shada's a lovely big filly as well. I think she could be even better this year. She's going to get her ground. There's been plenty of rain around Haydock this week. And the Rogervarian team are in very good order. I know our matchbook haven't got a market up just yet, but I can see around 5-2 with some bookmakers their best price. That is a very big price. I think she should be closer to 5-4 in that market.
Yeah, will be a market come race time. And Charlie?
Another Roger Varian runner for me, Mip Bahi down at Sandown. Impressive winner last time out. The stats say 3-year-olds have a great record in this race. And like I say, 3 of the Scurry winners have gone on to win this contest too. So Mip Bahi, sprinter on the up. And in spite of the 1 box, I think he can continue his upward progress.
Good stuff. There we go. Reminder, if you're watching this live or if you are indeed catching up, then you can comment in the comment section with your nap. And if that nap wins, you can get yourself a £25 free bet. That will be picked at random for anyone that comments with a winning nap. And you've got to give this video a like as well. And why wouldn't you? Adele, thank you. Rixie, thank you very much. Charlie, good stuff. The guys will be back again next week, or some of the guys will, for more previews. But I hope you've enjoyed all this, and check out Insights afterwards as well for a recap of all the best bets. Bye-bye.